Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So, we are going to discuss why some countries are poor and why some countries are rich, and how to become a rich country. And we are going to talk about job creation. Um, so, generally, everybody understands that people need to be educated. Whether you go to any country in the world, everybody would say, well, we have to create educated group of people, we need to create technical schools, etc., etc. So for someone to do a job, let's say for to have to produce something, let's say you want to produce a computer chip and you need people with education in computer chips. So you have to give the education. But that's not enough. That's only one side of the coin. Once you have people with education, they cannot produce anything unless somebody invests in a factory and create a factory so he has a place to go to work and use his talent and create that chip. So the bottom line is, if you take a coin, if there are two sides, heads and tails, heads is that basically you need to have qualified, educated people. When I say educated, not necessarily degrees, but you know, technical schools, mechanics, plumbers, carpenters, um, computer programmers, etc. So you need to have these schools, these universities, these technical schools, etc. And in that part, most politicians see that part, and most people see that part of the coin. That you have to create a group of people with qualifications, and they understand that. So they are building new universities, they're building new technical schools, vocational schools, etc. They're doing all that. But there's an other side to the coin. Coin that has two sides. What's the other side? Once these people come out of these um, technical schools or universities, they need to have jobs. Correct? I mean, what's the point having all the qualifications if there's no job? So you need jobs. So there are two sides to the coin. One side is you need qualified, trained, technically sound people, and that you have to do through education and vocational schools, depending upon the job, and you do that. And then the other side of the coin is the country need to create jobs. Now, I personally don't believe that government should be in the business of creating jobs. That has to be done by people. So, um, so how could people? Why wouldn't people create jobs? I mean, people should be investing. People should be starting little businesses by themselves, so there would be jobs available to them. But unfortunately, job creation is not happening much in many underdeveloped countries. Now, I mean, I'm sure you would see one entrepreneur here, one entrepreneur there, but every year, large number of people pass out before they pass out from schools, pass out from universities, and they all need jobs. So, how to create jobs for these people? So, okay, so government and the private sector build universities, technical schools, vocational schools. Now we have trained people, and now they are trained and they're ready to work. There are mechanics, there are carpenters, there are computer programmers, accountants, etc. But now they need jobs. So normally in many countries they would blame the government. Where are the jobs now? Give us jobs. But government should not be in the business of creating jobs. And most politicians, they want to get the votes, and they would say, yeah, we are going to have a job creation plan soon. We will give you jobs. And they give promises, and people go after these promises and then get disappointed. That's basically, you cannot expect and government cannot create high paying jobs either. So you need to have people starting little companies and then gradually build up. And as we know, Apple started in a little garage, and various other companies that are big today, they started small. And so that's what people should be doing. So people, what could government can do? What could government can do so that people will start little companies? So in some countries, there is no ecosystem for job creation. So there's no ecosystem for job creation. And what I would suggest is that have entrepreneurship as a subject for ordinary level. So what entrepreneurship, what kind of subject there would be? So what entrepreneurs have to go through? Entrepreneurs have to find money, that's called financing. And then they have to learn about the credit market, how to get loans from banks. In Sri Lanka, of course, there's only one way, the banks and from relatives, friends. There are other countries, they have angel investors, various hedge funds, etc. But in Sri Lanka, you have only banks and friends and family. Stock market is very limited. So they have to get the money to start a company. And that's one thing and that you can teach at all level. And also, create a mentality among people that, you just pass out and just get a job in the government sector and just wait for the pension. That is not the way to go. You should start your own company. Not all, but this program in this subject would create some in some people's minds that, yeah, this is what I want to do. Some people say I want to be a doctor, some people say I want to be a computer programmer. They go in different directions depending upon what they like. And there are, of course, some people with entrepreneurship ideas, and they would go into and then I would say at college level, you could add a subject for market, your stock market, futures, etc., finance. This subject should be taught in all. There are a lot of subjects when I was doing engineering degree, all kinds of math subjects and this and that. We really don't need at higher, once you go to work, all these. So you could reduce some of that unnecessary courses and include at first year a subject on markets, the entrepreneurship. And so that way, that would create some germs, some ideas, put some ideas into people's minds. There's another way. It's not just get a job and get a government job in CECB or CEB, or there's other things you can do, and that is have some not only engineering, I'm saying art, college, various commerce and etc. Everybody should be, so there should be a O-level subject, there should be a degree subject, first year one subject, or maybe included in a part of another subject. It's one thing. And the other thing is create an angel fund by the government at the beginning. This job creation, financing should be done by the private sector. But just to get the ball rolling, you could create an angel fund by the government. That would be like an angel fund is like a fund where they would give out loans to young individuals who are ready to start little companies, and they would use this money, get the company moving, and once they are successful, they'll pay it back. And the other thing is improve English education, and that way, people can communicate with the rest of the world. And also, it is important that some most technical books are in English. So, that's definitely something that could be done. That's the education side, as I said. And I also think that we need to have choices. Maybe some person wants to study in Sinhalese or Tamil, so they have to, government can create a translation program for technical subjects, and that way they would have plethora of material to get the job done. And the other thing is that only a few rich people have invested in the stock market. What is the stock market? When there is a big stock market, investors can get money from the stock market. They could go public and they say, well, we have little company, now we are ready to expand, and they go public and people buy the stocks, and then they have money to do whatever they want to do. So we have to make the stock market available to majority of people. As far as I know, not even 1% of the people have invested in the stock market. I don't know anybody who have, none of my family members have invested in the stock market, and unless none of my close friends have invested in the stock market in Sri Lanka, and it's very, very few people. There are few businessmen in Colombo have invested in the stock market. That's not good. We need to create a culture of investing in the stock market, not just putting in banks. And people need to, when you have a big stock market, then that means, investors can go there and get money and expand their business. So these are things government can do. Government should not be saying, well, we are going to give jobs to everyone and then create, useless, unnecessary jobs. And these people, will get a paltry amount and we will be poor forever. So as I said, there are two sides to the coin. One side is to develop a country, you need to produce. You need to produce, you need to export. You need to produce goods. You need manpower, qualified manpower, not just manpower. So you need qualified manpower. And that side, most politicians and people are focused on that. They are building universities, they are building technical schools, and qualified people alone is not enough. There's the other side to the coin, that will be job creation. So what do we have to do to create jobs? What can government do to create jobs? First, create an entrepreneurship ecosystem, which, as I said, have a subject in O level and have a subject in college level. Create a culture of entrepreneurship, which is lacking in Sri Lanka. And then create an angel fund by the government at the beginning to get the ball rolling and, fuel entrepreneurship. Improve English education, because English is important for technical stuff and communication with the rest of the world. And also, I would say government sponsored translation program for technical books for Sinhalese and Tamils. So that way you have more avenues to study a subject. That is these two are basically one other side of the coin. That is not necessarily, as I said, two sides of the coin. One side is creating qualified people, and other side is creating jobs. And then also take the stock market to the public. Right now, only few rich people have invested in the stock market. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope some politicians would listen to this and take action. Thanks a lot.